Enumerate the different levels in the taxonomy of the affective domain. Discuss each of these levels.
So hi everyone, my name is Delona P. Balawing, and for today's video, I'm going to explain the affective levels of taxonomy and discuss. So the first one is receiving. So when we say receiving, it is being aware of or attending to something in an environment. So for me, in receiving, learners should be, or learners are, or is willing to pay attention, and also they will listen with respect. Or receiving is also concerned with simple awareness and selective attention. Yes, so the second one is responding. So when we say responding, it is showing some new behavior results of experience. So it means that in responding level, affective level domain is learners actively responds and participate, or it's simply concerned with the interest and seeking and enjoyment. So the third one is valuing. So when we say valuing, this is to show or showing some definite involvement or commitment. So from the word itself, value, how you value, how the students, how the learners places value on behavior and idea, person or situation. And then also it is concerned with attitudes and appreciation. So the fourth one is organization. Okay, so organized organization. So it means that integrating a new value into one's general set of values, giving it some ranking among one's general priorities. Or shall we say it is to prioritize value on behavior and resolves conflicts between them. Or it is concerned with, maybe it is concerned with the development of philosophy of life, I think so. Yes, and the last one is we have characterization by value or characterization. So it means that acting consistently with the new value. So when we say consistently, it is constant. Nothing has been changed, or nagsteady lang siya. Then, so what to siya yung meaning niya? And in some explanation, it is value the system is internalized, and also it is control the behavior. Yes, and also it is concerned with some patterns of adjustment.
What is an attitude and why is student of attitude important? How will understanding of attitudes and predisposition enhance teaching?
Moving on, let us talk about attitude and predispositions. What is an attitude and why is a student of attitude important? And how will an understanding of this enhances teaching? Naomi 2016 defines attitude as either mental readiness or implicit predispositions that exert some general or consistent influence on a very large class of evaluative responses, which are usually directed towards some object, event, or persons. So it can be, it can be described in terms of these three components. First component of the attitude is the affective component. It involves a person's feelings or emotions about an object. And second component is the behavioral or cognitive. Um, this is the way the attitude we have influenced how we act or behave. And lastly, the third component, the cognitive component, it involves a person's belief or knowledge about an attitude or object. So in this model, or also known as the ABC model, or what we call as the three component model of attitudes, it focuses merely on and the beliefs, the thoughts and opinions about school and learning, and also with its emotions and a relationship towards school and learning that is built upon feelings. And it behaves in accordance with favorable and unfavorable experiences with school and learning. So attitudes towards school and learning are associated with academic achievement. Apparently, students with poor academic performance have a more negative attitude towards learning and believe that school and learning will not help them to be successful someday in the future. Academic achievement should be also analyzed in a relation to a student's attitude towards learning in school, as it ensures internal motivation for providing better performance. These attitudes and predispositions are the B aspects of being a learner, such as resilience, persistence, and resourcefulness. When we capture evidences and data about the B aspects of learners, we are attending to their engine room of learning.
What is motivation? Discuss the need theories on motivation, Maslow, Herzberg, and ERG theories.
What is motivation? Discuss the needs, theories on motivation, Maslow, Herzberg, and ERG theories. The earliest studies of motivation and examination of individual needs, especially early researchers, through that employees try hard, demonstrate the goal-driven behavior in order to satisfy needs. So Maslow's hierarchy needs, Abraham Maslow's, is among the most prominent psychologists of the 20th century. His hierarchy of needs is an image familiar to among business students and the manager. ERG theory's main contribution to the literature is its relaxation of Maslow's assumptions. Frederick Herbert approached the questions of motivations in different ways.
Why are the needs as presented by Maslow arranged in hierarchy?
In order to better understand what motivates the human beings, Maslow proposed that human needs can be organized into a hierarchy. According to Maslow, when a lower need is met, the next need on the hierarchy becomes our focus of attention.
What is meant by hierarchy of needs?
Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a charted set of human requirements that are important for an individual to achieve complete development and self-actualization.
The phrase motivation hygiene is often used to describe Herzberg's two-factor theory. What are hygiene factors? Why are they important in the educative process?
Hi guys, the two factors of motivation hygiene that Herzberg's is often used are motivation and hygiene. In motivation, this is the ideal situation. Employees are very motivated and barely complains. In hygiene, employees have few complaints, but they are not very motivated. They see their work simply as a paycheck. Motivation hygiene is important in educative process because hygiene factors characterize the environmental context of your work, such as your company's factors or your company's policies, your co-workers, your supervision, pay, and benefits.
What is self-efficacy? How does this concept figure in the educational measurement field? Why is the concept important to teachers?
Okay, so for question number 6 um, in part 1, we have what is self-efficacy, how it affects the educational measurement field, and why is it important to the teachers. So first, we are going to define what is self-efficacy. So self-efficacy, according to psychologist Albert Bandura, who originally proposed this concept, it is a personal judgment of how well one can execute courses of action required to deal with prospective situations. It also refers to an individual's beliefs in his or her capacity to execute behaviors necessary to produce specific performance attainments. So meaning it reflects on the confidence or how a certain individual control his or her own motivation, behavior, and social environment. So generally speaking, self-efficacy is more on those individuals or specifically students that can handle their selves on their own. They know what to do, they know what they're going to do, they know what they are doing, and also they know what they want to achieve, like that. Kanang kuan sila, conscious kanang kuan sila, oriented sila kung unsa ang dapat buhaton, like that. So now, why is it important to the teachers? Not just to teachers, but also to students or to the teaching learning process generally. So according to my research, a high sense of self-efficacy can help a child succeed academically and also give them a healthy sense of well-being. Children with a high sense of efficacy have better motivation, greater resilience, lower vulnerability, and a better ability to think productively when faced with a challenge. So just like what I've said a while ago, it refers to those students who can handle themselves on their own.
Give an example of learning competency objective in the affective domain for each of the levels in the taxonomy of Krakow. Assume that you are teaching a subject in your field of specialization.
Now for this video, I am going to give you example of learning competency objectives in the affective domain for each of the levels in the taxonomy of Kratwal et al. Now I have here a table wherein the 5 levels are written, and then the definition for each level is also being written alongside with the examples. Now for the first level, the receiving level, but first I have to tell you that this example is for teaching the subject public speaking, specifically the topic about debate. Now for level 1, which is receiving, the students will listen attentively to the discussion or the introduction about debate. And for the next level, which is the responding level, the students will participate in the discussion and answer questions regarding the topic about debate. Now for the third level is valuing. The students attend optional debate match or optional debate competition. Now for the next level, the organization, the students might arrange a debate competition in class. And lastly, for the 5th level, characterization by value, the students will join a team or will join a debate club.
Describe the potential of tapping the affective domain in enhancing the learning students.
Number 3, describe the potential of tapping the affective domain in enhancing student learning? Well, for me, affective domain is a process of interacting with students. So it deals with their behavior, attitudes, and their perception. So we must consider their intellectuality emotionally, using their brain and heart. So the potential of affective domain in enhancing student is that to arouse the interest of each learner, because there are learners that slow learner has low self-esteem and no motivation. So it's really important to have affective stimulation to foster the interest of each learner. So by doing that, the teacher need to consider the teacher doing is to have fun learning activities, to engage and to motivate each learner to participate in the class. Because according to Radnan, he said that any cognitive and psychomotor objective has some affective components of it at no deeper level than the willingness of efficiently to interact with learning resources to achieve learning.
What is the self-report?
Hello once again. Now, what is a self-report? A self-report is a measurement tool, oftentimes called written reflections, wherein participants or the students are being asked about their feelings, their attitudes, and their beliefs, and so on and so forth about a particular activity or a particular topic.
What should such a self-report essentially contain?
Okay, so we have the question, what self-reports essentially contains, or let's just say, what are the contents of self-reports? So self-reports is a study is a type of survey questionnaires. I know my group mates already define what is self-report, but this is just for additional knowledge. So yeah, like what I've said a while ago, it is a pool in which respondents reads the question and select a response by themselves without interference. A self-report also is any method which involves asking a participant about their feelings, attitudes, beliefs, and so on about a certain subject matter. So generally speaking, self-report contains questions, various of questions, but not just questions. It more on focuses on asking what are the feelings, what are the beliefs, insights of a certain individual about a certain subject matter. Yeah, let's just, for example, in math subjects, teachers should also ask students, why do I like or dislike mathematics, or what are your likes or dislikes about mathematics, just like that.
How should a teacher instruct the students in writing self-reports?
How can a teacher instruct the students in writing self-report? Teachers ensures that the students, which with something demonstrate the various levels of taxonomy in lowest levels of receiving characterization.
What is a rating scale?
Rating scale is defined as a close-ended survey question. It is used to represent respondent feedback in a comparative form for specific particular features, products, or services.
What are the various types of rating scales?
There are three types of rating scales. The first one is Semantic Differential Scale. Second is Thurston Scale. And the last one is the Likert Scale.
How these rating scales are formulated?
Semantic difference scales is a semantic differential, or SO, tries to assess an individual's reaction to specific words. ideas, or concepts. In terms of rating on bipolar scales defined with constructing objectives at each end. So the example is like that on the screen. Usually the position marked 0 is labeled as a neutral, the 1 positions are labeled as slightly, then the 2 positions is white, and the 3 position is extremely. In the illustration above, for instance, a 3 close to good would mean an extremely good reaction, while a 3 close to the bad would be an extremely bad reaction. So the scale actually measures two things: directionality for a reaction, or maybe good versus bad, and also sensitivity slide through extreme. Usually a person is presented with some concept of interest without any other explanatory reminders. Math teacher and asked to rate into a number of such scales. So ratings are combined in various ways to describe and analyze the person's feelings. A number of basic considerations are involved in SD methodology, or what we call scale of how to grade or how to value that examples. In other terms, the semantic differential scales measures the connotative meaning of things. Example is, while the word heart is defined as the organ that pumps blood around the body, its connotative meaning is love or heartache. The scale is used in surveys to gauge people's feelings toward a particular subject.
In Thornstone scale, which is one of the first scales ever used to measure attitudes on different topics and issues. This scale contains a set of statements about a certain topic, along with a numerical value depicting how favorable or unfavorable it is deemed to be. In such surveys, the respondents only tick those statements that they agree with. After that, the researcher calculates the mean score that shows the respondent's attitude on the issue in question. Thornstone scale versus semantic differential scale, well, due to its complexity and advanced math behind it, Thornstone scale isn't used that often in surveys. In fact, the Likert scale was derived from the Thornstone scale exactly due to the need to simplify the original scale. That being said, you're much more likely to see the semantic differential scale used in research nowadays. Likert scale is one of the most commonly used ways of measuring perceptions, attitudes, and opinions. It enables survey respondents to express their attitude by choosing one of the given answer options. And the questions of it are characterized by a wide range of options to choose from, usually ranging from one extreme, like strongly agree, to another, such as strongly disagree. Even though Likert and semantic differential scales seem very similar, one of the main differences is that with Likert scales, you rate a specific statement that refers to a particular topic, while semantic differential lets you rate the topic itself. For example, in a Likert scale questionnaire, you can get a statement such as, "I like survey scales." And then you can pick from a range of options that vary in degree, such as strongly agree, very much agree, not sure, pretty much disagree, and strongly disagree. The main issue with Likert scales, however, is that they could lead to acquiescence or acquiescence response bias, where survey respondents would agree with a statement more often than disagree, whatever their true attitude or opinion. This could be avoided by structuring questions as real questions and not statements, or by using a semantic differential scale. In a survey based on the semantic differential scale, you would have a topic survey scales and would be able to choose from a scale of polar adjectives that start and ends with like and dislike. That way, there will be much less room for bias in research.
What is the difference between a Thurston scale and a Likert scale?
The difference between the Thornstone scale and Likert scale. So the difference between two scale is the score of the respondent. So when you say Thornstone scale is the statement in a particular issue where it has a numerical value that indicates the respondent's attitudes towards the topic. So it is the true attitude of the respondents lies on the maximum distribution, while the Likert scale is that the respondent respond in the every item. So it is a collection of a statement and the result of a statement where randomly the scale uses the, for example, the like agreement, like disagree, agree, uncertain, and strongly disagree. So it indicates their own attitudes toward own attitude by checking how strongly they are agree or disagree with the statement.
In what does Gottman scaling improve on both types of scales?
Okay, hi guys, another question. So, in what does Gottman scaling improves both two types of scales? So, we all know that Gottman's has a two types of scaling, which are the scalogram analysis and cumulative scaling, or what we call the Gottman scaling. So, according to Gottman, he pointed out that there should be a multidimensional of attitude construct. And also, he developed the scalogram analysis as what I said earlier, the two types of Gottman scaling. So, also there is major characteristic of what does Gottman wants to improve the both types of scaling. So, the major characteristic is that this scale should the response to one items helps to predict another response to another items. So he also said that this scale should be a hierarchical something hierarchical, which means that it is a productive in the survey where respondent do not reach the end of the questionnaire or step taking it after a few questions. Also, in Gottman scaling, it gives an examples that for 5 questions, and it predicted only the 3 person which answering yes, and the other 2 rather is no. So for this scaling is simply kanang ma-predict din yun niya who is answering this survey yes, or it is answerable by yes or no. So that's all, and thank you.